Hi, welcome. Guess who's back in the house? It's me, Scott Canete, as you can tell. Today, I am going to make something else that I'm desperately missing in this world. It's a baked good, Nordic origins. They literally are, I think they're my favorite baked good. I mean, seriously, they are so good. What am I talking about? I'm talking about Ole Steen's Cinnamon Social. If you've not had a cinnamon social before, it is like the best sort of cinnamon roll that you could ever have, but it's not in a cinnamon roll. It's in this big sort of like loaf, and they just take slices of it off. It's got these folds of this buttery bread with cinnamon, and the magic ingredient is this sort of custard, pastry custard filling. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attempt to make that today. I used to be a professional baker. One of the most important things that I learned in the beginning was that accuracy is important. So it's important to have scales so you can measure out your ingredients. First of all, we're gonna need 150 mils of milk. Now I'm gonna put this into the microwave for about 30 seconds and just to heat it up so that the milk is a little bit warm, but not so warm that it's boiling. Then we're gonna add in 18 grams of yeast. Give that a little stir around. What we're doing right now is we're sponging the yeast. We want it to come alive. So pretty soon you're gonna see the yeast granules expand and open up, and we want a layer of foam to appear on the top of our milk. Okay, so our yeast is starting to come alive. So now we're going to continue adding ingredients. To that, we're going to add 200 grams of butter and 2 eggs. To that, we're going to add 75 grams of caster sugar. Now we need to measure out 500 grams of plain flour. Now we need our mixer. We're gonna pop the bowl in our stand mixer, put our dough hook in, turn it on. I'm gonna slowly stream in the egg, yeast, and sugar mixture. We're gonna pump up the volume. Pump up the volume, dance, dance. Oh, I did it the wrong way. Now you can do this by hand, you don't need a machine. What you would do is you would pour the flour and your egg mixture into a bowl, work it around a spatula, then turn it out and knead it. Since I've got a machine, I might as well put it to use, you know. So this is gonna take about 5 or 6 minutes on the machine. What we're looking for is a really smooth, elastic dough. Okay, so our dough is almost there. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to add in about a half a teaspoon of salt now. You don't wanna add it in the beginning because that affects the way the yeast to work. So I'm gonna put that in, and we're gonna give that another mix for about another minute. So it's gonna be ready to go. And we've got a really soft dough. You see how it stretches? Looks really, really supple. It doesn't stick to your hands. You could feel a little bit of the butter in there because we've worked quite a bit of butter in there. So what are we gonna do now? We're gonna put this into a bowl that I've buttered, cover it with cling film, and we're gonna let it rest until it's doubled in size. Okay, so while our dough is proving, we're gonna make the cinnamon filling for our cinnamon social. We need 200 grams of softened butter. To that, we're gonna add 200 grams of caster sugar. So we're gonna mix that together. Then we're gonna add about 4 tablespoons of cinnamon. Oh my God, I'm making such a mess. So I'm gonna add a secret ingredient into the cinnamon filling. I'm just gonna add 2 pinches of salt. What that's gonna do is that's just gonna brighten up the sweet flavor, because we've got a lot of sugar in here. A lot of times when you're making something and it's like something sweet, like a cake, and it sort of tastes like this and there's no salt in the recipe, the minute you add that, just a little bit of salt elevates it and takes it next level. So that's our cinnamon filling. All that we need to do is we need to wait for our dough to finish proving. I'm spreading a little bit of flour on our work surface. We're taking half of the dough, the other is on the other side. We're going to put it down to our table. And what we're doing is we're rolling out a rectangle. That way, we're gonna roll it out until we get to the width that we want, which is about there. I'm gonna lift it up, I'm gonna turn it this way, and then we're gonna roll it the other direction. So we're gonna take half of our cinnamon mixture and spread it over our entire dough. We want a thin layer over the entire dough. The recipe calls for pastry cream. I did not have a surplus of eggs to make them. So basically what I've done is I've cheated. I've taken Bird's custard and I've made it with milk instead of water, and I've used half the amount of milk to the amount of powder that I'm supposed to use. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take about half of this, spread it gently over the top. Now we are going to roll our dough into a tight little log. Smush it back a little bit like that. And we're going to transfer it to this baking tray lined with parchment. We're gonna take a very sharp knife and we're gonna cut slices through it, not all the way down, and we're gonna do them probably about an inch apart. And then we're going to take each of the slices and pull them into opposite direction. So we're gonna pull this one this way. Ah! That way, that way, that way, that way. Okay, so there we have that. What we're gonna do now, we're going to cover this with cling film and we're gonna let it rest and prove for another about 40 minutes, so it'll double up in size again. Our cinnamon socials have been proving for another 45 minutes. The next thing that we need to do is we need to give them a little bit of an egg glaze. So I've just taken one egg, whisked it all together, and I'm just gonna coat the top of this. It's gonna give a really nice sheen to our finished breads. Now all we need to do is we need to put them into the oven. I've put the baking directions and time in the link down below. Oh my God! So they're a little bit darker than I'd like. Maybe that's because of the egg wash, but they look and they smell the part. I've made a glaze with milk and icing sugar and a touch of vanilla extract. And the last thing that we do is when they're completely cool, you just drizzle on top to make it look the part. But you know what, I'm just gonna do it now because I can't wait. So I'm just gonna do it this way. So just drizzle on top. I mean, kind of looks the part. I get to eat it, right? I get to eat some right now. So you've got the nice little layers, really nice. Let me taste it. It's so good. This has a little bit more crust on the outside. Maybe that's the egg wash. Still, I'm loving it. I mean, look at that. Oh. The inside's really soft and tough and buttery. So delicious. I'm gonna have one more bit. So good, so delicious. That was so delicious, and it was really quite easy. I hope that you enjoyed our little fun time today, learning how to make my version of Ole Steen Cinnamon Social. What should I cook next? What are you missing the most? You can send me an email, put a comment down below, slide into my DMs, or a TikTok. And I've done a TikTok finally. I'm gonna do another one too. So until next time, I am over and out. Bye. See ya. Do you think I should finish this all? No. So good.